approved. Whistling Pine Street rezoning. Michael Bolin and Associates requesting approval for rezoning from R1S to R1. It is recommended. Hello. Recommended by the DRC. Kennedy Cove subdivision rezoning. Garnett Engineering requesting approval for rezoning from R2 to R1S. Oh no, I'm sorry. I'm in the public hearing. I went too far. Sorry. Stop at the Whistling Pine.
Okay. Any questions? DRC report. Okay. You notice we have 1, 2, 3, 4 public hearings tonight. If it's agreeable, let's go through one at a time. Keep the hearings open for each until we get to the end, if that's agreeable. Okay. This time, our first public hearing is Whistling Pine Street rezoning. Michael Bolin and Associates requesting approval for rezoning from R-1.S to R-1. Is Michael here tonight?
No. Owen is here.
You need to come please forward, ma'am, and state your name and your address and your purpose.
Laura Owen, representing Michael Bolin and Associates, 1098 Ferguson Drive, Dayton. And I'm here for the rezoning of Whistling Pine from R1S to R1.
Okay. Drew, do you want to talk about this rezoning request?
I can. This is, like you said, a request going from R1S to R1. It's met all of the requirements to have the public hearing, and it does come recommended from the Planning Commission based on the comprehensive growth plan that it meets. The R1 could meet that density level as well as the R1S does currently for the comprehensive growth plan.
Okay. Okay, ma'am, thank you. What we're going to do is ask anybody who is for, who would like to speak for or against it, and then you can come back up and state your case. You want to pull it up on the map, Colton? Okay. Is there anyone who would like to speak on this item? You can come forward.
Just so the commissioners know, that area of property in there, and it is zoned for mobile home. The property adjacent to it to get to this is zoned for mobile home, duplex or single family. So it's not something, that entire neighborhood is zoned for that purpose. So it's not something outside the zoning.
So the zoning to the north of it, which I believe is the neighborhood that you're talking about, is zoned RM.
Yes.
Which is that residential mixed use, which is correct. It has all those uses you listed in that zoning.
So like Robinwood and all those Whistling Pine that come and enter this, is it going to only have one way in, or is it another?
They're working on getting another access point that will come with the actual development of the site.
So the zoning is very similar to what's already there in that area.
That's just a block off Spring Hill from the looks of it.
Somebody came forward.
Any public comments?
The one thing that I can take the opportunity and say on public comments that the city of Bryant had was I did have email correspondence with 2 individuals that were against the zoning, the rezoning.
What was the reason?
One of them was a bit misinformed on what was going in there, so informed them on that, but just not a fan of the density. And then another one also had concern over the density level.
But it does meet everything, our guidelines for density.
Yes, it can go up to that density level by the definition of the comprehensive growth plan.
So it conforms with our competency.
Yes, sir.
Any other questions? I guess if there's any question, do roll call vote.
Mayfield,
Yes. Yes.
Kendall,
Yes.
Stack,
Yes.
Johnson,
Yes.
and Earl.
Yes. Whistling Pine Street rezoning has been approved from zoning R-1.S to R-1. Okay?
I think, just real quick, Chairman, just a point about the rezonings, those still go to City Council for approval.
Correct.
So any of the rezonings that pass tonight will be at the regular City Council meeting at the end of this month.
Okay. The next public hearing is for King D. Cove subdivision rezoning, requesting approval for rezoning from R-2 to R-1.S. You want us to talk about that?
Yes, sir, and this is another rezoning. The current zoning here, like the chairman just said, is R2 going down to R1S. Once again, this meets the standards of the density levels set forth by the Comprehensive Growth Plan. And sorry, I was trying to see. Colton, do you remember why DRC did not give a recommendation on this?
It said that it recommended.
Said it recommended, I thought it did too.
On the front side it did, but on the printout you gave us, agenda item 2, it says no recommendation.
It was recommended in our meeting.
That might have just been a misprint there.
Okay.
So what is it, recommended or not recommended?
I believe it was recommended.
There was a recommendation by DRC.
I believe it was under the same logic as the previous zoning, was that it meets the Comprehensive Growth Plan density levels. So they're asking to go to a more dense level of growth there. So, yeah, the Comprehensive Growth Plan also meets that level. So I believe that recommendation comes from the interpretation of the growth plan.
Okay, someone to speak about this King D. Cove subdivision?
Good evening, I'm Vernon Williams of Bryant Engineering. I'd answer any questions you have about this project.
You want to tell us about the project?
Yeah, it is at the intersection of Lombard and Hilltop. It includes 40 lots. We, again, thought that the rezoning fit with the areas out there. We've got a large tract that's directly north of us that already has that zoning, the R1S, and we're just trying to conform to that. It's also, this is kind of a peculiar piece of property. In fact, it has a lot of street frontage that is adjacent to it. We're required to have street improvements to Hilltop and to Lombard. We're not able to have any, gain any lots by doing that. And the higher density is really going to help us with those offsite costs that we have to do.
Which neighborhood to the north is on that way?
It's some vacant land that's across from Canyon Way there. It borders us partially on the west and all across our north side.
The part that used to be in Midtown.
I guess, yeah.
Correct.
It's hard to think of that as Midtown.
It was the 40 acres that was removed from Midtown and it was on.
Yeah. Previously, back in like
Yes.
2011.
So you can see it right there.
And the red line here is city limits, or is this in our territorial?
That's the city limits.
Yeah, the property's already in the city limits.
Okay. I knew there was a dividing line right in that neighborhood, so.
Any questions? Okay, thank you, Vernon. If you would like to speak for the rezoning or against it, please come forward, state your name and your address, please.
Any additional time limit?
And we're going to give you 3 minutes each, and if we'd like you not to repeat yourself, or the next person repeats the same thing that the first person said.
There'll be a test later too.
We'll test you later.
Okay, my name is Nicole Ellis, and my husband and our daughters live at 5400 Lombard, which is right across the street from this proposed subdivision. We would like to speak in opposition. We do not believe that the current infrastructure supports the increase in traffic or the drainage issues that we have already experienced there over the last 10, 15 years. In addition, we don't believe that this current density is consistent with the surrounding property. Everyone that's right around there, there's one house for every, I took a quick look, and I would say 2 or more acres, but probably even more so than that. So for those reasons, we would oppose this.
Okay. Thank you. Anyone else like to speak for or against this rezoning? Please state your name.
Yes, my name is Nick Goforth, and I live at 5616 Walmart Road with my wife and young daughter. My wife wanted to join me here tonight, was unable to because we didn't want to bring our young daughter out to the the pandemic. We want to formally express our concerns and object to the proposed development of Candy Cove subdivision. Our primary concern is from an environmental standpoint. Our property is located just east of the proposed subdivision. Our yard is a nationally recognized and certified wildlife habitat and monarch way station. We have observed nearly 60 bird species on our property, along with a colony of bats, several species of mammals, reptiles, amphibians, butterflies, and other insects that use our property and the surrounding woodlands for shelter, food, and to raise their young. We are concerned that clear cutting this property will negatively affect the wildlife in our yard and the surrounding area. Lots of natural areas have already been lost in this area that are necessary for native wildlife. There is a large plot being cleared just up the road for another subdivision already right now. A major reason lots of people live in this area is for the wildlife, trees, and seclusion, and these areas are steadily disappearing but should be preserved. If the proposed project were to proceed, we ask if a professional environmental study has been conducted or is planned to assess the impacts on native flora and fauna, particularly threatened or endangered species. This property also has a pond that provides a needed water source to the area. What happens to the aquatic wildlife that inhabits that pond when it is filled into the subdivision? These subdivisions with manicured lawns also come with increased pesticide and herbicide use, causing further harm to native wildlife and potentially our mating colonies that we keep. As I mentioned, we are among those that moved to this area for the wildlife, woodlands, and seclusion. Moving again is not an option for us. We bought this property and spent a lot of money completely renovating our home the way we wanted it and to be handicap accessible for my wife. We don't have the money or means to do it again. In addition to our environmental concerns, we worry about the noise from the long clear cuttings and construction process and our young child, the excess lights in the new neighborhood at night, and the loss of afternoon shade that the trees provide to across the road provide to our property. How will this construction affect our property value is another question we have. Another major concern for us is that the current proposed plan has the secondary entrance to the subdivision directly across from our front door. This will be a major nuisance with increased traffic directly across from our house and headlights shining directly into our windows at night. If the project is to proceed, we ask that a more environmentally conscious plan be considered, such as larger lots with native trees, and that efforts are taken to shield neighboring properties from nuisances resulting from the new subdivision. We hope you take our concerns into consideration when making your decision. We appreciate your time and attention and listening to our concerns. Thank you.
Thank you. I also received a call from a resident on Lombard saying they did not mind development. They just felt like 40 lots on this size of property was too many pieces of development for this pace of amount of space. Did anybody else hear from any concerned citizens?
Yes, if I may. The neighbor directly south of me, he also has concerns, the same concern I have pretty much about traffic and the losing the trees and everything. And he spoke to the neighbor on the opposite side of the property, which I guess they couldn't be here. My neighbor is out of state right now. Across property, okay. All right, well, the people on the other side of my neighbor said that they had issues as well for the same reason, the population and losing that native area.
Any commissioners have any comment about anybody contacted them?
I can say that I've received 3 letters that for the most part speak to very similar comments that have been spoken to already tonight. Worried about the environmental, the density, the stormwater, and the development overall. I can read those.
What are the locations of those?
I've I've got Mr., we'll start with this one, Nicole and Tim Ellis at 5400 Lombard Road. Colton, would you mind pulling up the addressing?
That's,
Oh,
that's
so-
right. Yeah.
Oh, well, awesome.
Thank you for being here.
Yes, appreciate that. And I've got Jim Pollard. And then Scott and Kim Suggs at 6301.
I'll be there on Father F. Lombard, I believe.
Yes, I think these were mostly in like the 5400 block, and this is
And what did the subs have to say? Condensed version.
opposition to the development of the density levels on the small tract property, and that the Hilltop and North Lake are dangerous roads. Neither have a shoulder. Of course, on that note, the development would do the Half Street improvements along those sections of roads that they touch.
Is that a collector or what is that classified as Lombard? Hilltop's your collector, right? Or
Right. I believe so Hilltop is an arterial, Lombard is a collector. So as far as stages of roadways go, arterial is the most major, is the widest. Collector is below that, and then you have your local road, which would be like your subdivision road underneath that.
So right now it's R2, correct?
Correct.
Which allows how many lots?
Which allows,
By right, they have the right to develop R2 without a rezoning.
which would be a 9,000 square foot lot.
I'm sure that, I'm sure he can answer, Vernon can answer that.
We could go 30 lots on.
So 30 lots in the exact zoning that it is right now.
Versus what?
Versus what's the proposed, how many the density on?
Sir, would you like to, are you part of this development as well? Would you come forward too?
Yeah. Just so it can be on the microphone, with the layout we have 40 lots, and we did the layout with 30 lots with the R2 zone.
And we may, before you rebut, we may have some more public comments, so I'm sorry.
Colton, can you put up the zoning again? You had it a while ago. What's around it?
So while you're doing that, I want to restate what Lance was saying, just for clarity. In the current zoning, the landowner has the ability to build 30 lots without any approval from this commission.
Other than site plan.
Other than site plan and those things.
That's site improvement, water.
Plat approval.
So the difference here we're talking about is really 10 lots. Either way, so.
I mean, they have the right to clear it, they have the right to put streets in. We're going to require them to do half-street improvements. We're going to require them to do stormwater detention. I mean, we're going to require them to build to the building code that the city requires. I mean, all the same things. The only difference is the lot sizes are smaller and you pick up 10 more lots. Correct?
Correct, based on their layout
Their
of the lot.
Yeah. Is there any other public comment?
I think there was one gentleman.
I don't want to, this is the portion where they, where the public.
Hello, sir. My name is Tim Ellis. I live right across from where these lots are going in. I have 2 daughters. One of them drives, one of them's fixing to drive. We have enough traffic on Lombard, and you can check with your police officer, because I know several of them. But they get them doing 65 and 70 miles an hour down on Lombard all the time, because they use it as a cutoff to go around Bryant and come out on Highway 5 and go into Little Rock. Man, I had one pass me on a double yellow line going up the hill the other day, and it pulled in the Magnolia subdivision right around the corner from me and hit their brakes and pulled in. But they were in such a hurry. I'm like, really? It wouldn't have taken you 10 more seconds. And that's about all I got to say.
Thank you. No, I said thank you. Can't hear me with this mask on. It's all mumbled. Anything else?
So currently, under the zoning now, you could build 30 houses. With the new zoning, you could do 40.
Yeah, come forward.
Yeah, I guess that's all the public. Any more public comment? Come on up, I guess. Raise your hand. Okay.
Good evening, Wes Martin. I'm one of the partners in this development. It's actually 32 lots on our site plan that we could do versus the 40 lots with the 75 feet frontage. So just wanted to make sure that's clear. On the property values, I heard that loud and clear, these lots will be marketed at $37,000 to $38,000 a lot. To give you an idea of the area, 4009 Springwood Circle sold for $31,000 a lot. 5705 Bridgeport Way sold for $36,000 a lot. D700 Bridgeport Way sold for $34,000 a lot for that lot just earlier this year. So we feel these lots fit in terms of property values well within what's in the area. Obviously, one of the major things that we're doing, part of the city requirements, is upgrading the streets and the drainage to try to obviously improve that street. I hear this gentleman's concern, the traffic that's coming through those speed limits. So hopefully this improvement to the streets will help that. So the big thing is we just want people to know that this development will fit with what's in the area in terms of the quality of the homes and just a slight increase the number of lots there.
What size house would fit on 32 lot development?
You bet. So the average home, we expect to sell for about $200,000, and the average size probably 1,500 to 2,000 square feet. The average lot size.
That's with the 32 lots.
That's with 32 lots.
32 or 40. 40.
Yes,
You
sir.
were talking about 40.
Yeah, I was talking about the 40.
So 1,500 square feet, about 200,000.
1,500 to 2,000 square feet. 200,000 would be the average price we'd expect based on your typical metrics of a lot cost and that price.
How would it affect you if you went to the 32 lots? Would you be able to, would it be more attractive and be able to price it like in the upper 40s, mid 40s, like a lot of other neighborhoods?
We don't feel that that market's there, just based on what other lots are selling for in the area. And with the impact of the street improvements to Lombard and the Hilltop, and some of the other requirements, the project just wouldn't pencil with the 32 lots.
You said it would fit with what else is out there. Are the neighborhoods around that, being Magnolia, Cypress, and Dawson's, are they consistent with that? Are they in that price range, square footage?
That's what we're seeing. Yeah, if you look out in the most recent comps, the $125 to $130 a square foot, the lot
I'm
price.
talking about the size of the houses.
Size of
Are
the
they
houses.
consistent with them?
Yeah, 1,500, 2,000 square feet, some a little bigger. So
We're sure on that one, guys?
What are the lot sizes on Canyons Way and Dawson Point? Are they consistent? Wes, how many acres is this?
10 acres.
10 acres.
Yes, sir.
They're 80-foot lots.
They're what?
I measured one on Bridgeport, which is Canyon Way. It's an 80-foot wide lot on the corner. How wide are yours?
Yes. 60s as a minimum.
60s minimum width.
At with 40
Yes,
lots.
sir.
The interior lots are 75.
Which would be the minimum for R2.
Yeah, that's an R2 road. So.
The R-1.S is the 60-foot minimum frontage.
Is that developed already, or is it?
No, sir. That's kind of big pit that you're roughly familiar with.
Colton, can you zoom out? I want to see where the next, go ahead and turn the zoning back on. Is there any other 1S in that general vicinity?
I think it's Green Hill Village.
But is there any other 1S zoning in that area other than that? Just, is that upper left up there? Is that 1S?
Yes.
Is it? Yes.
Okay.
Well, you've got, where's the Midtown zone?
That's that one, right next door.
But all that on Hilltop, does it not show the overlay district?
No, not on this map.
You can, Colin, I think you can get that T&D overlay.
So you're saying R2 is the rest of them?
Because the density in that, yeah, there you go. So that's that density is going to be more dense than R1S in that overlay, correct?
Well,
Some of it.
it depends on how tomorrow night goes.
Yeah, there's a meeting about that. I saw.
As the overlay district currently sits via ordinance, yes. But there's a proposal to change the overlay district in front of council tomorrow night. As it reads, this section would be zoned R2.
That's being proposed, or?
That
No.
has come out of a mediation session
Okay.
with a lawsuit and some other things attached to it through that process.
So R2 would fit what is around there, but also the Midtown changing of overlay district.
The proposal of what that overlay district would be.
Where's Midtown in there?
That's the shepherd, the hatch, I'm sorry.
But are they doing the whole thing? I don't want to get down that rabbit hole. Are they doing the whole thing or just north of Hilltop?
That would just be the north of Hilltop section. There's going to be other density. The proposal, is that there would be other density levels south of Hilltop, but north of what we kind of coined Midtown proper.
Okay.
What's the other area that was the 1S?
Right now it'd be Midtown.
No, there was another area
Oh,
y'all
up there.
pointed out. Was that connected to the area, or is that off of Spring Hill Road?
It's all spring, yeah.
Okay. So it's not part of that general area then?
Okay.
Any rebuttal, any other? Does your engineer have any more comments? He was bouncing around.
Yeah, one of the complaints was about the second entrance, which is required by the fire code. If we
You're going to have it.
higher density, then we go with it. And I apologize for getting the number wrong on 30 or 32. But, and then obviously the drainage, we're meeting all you guys' stormwater requirements, and we've already discussed the improvements that we're making to the streets out there.
So there is a drainage study with calculations that's
Yes.
done for every development. Any possibility to move that entrance that's in front of the residence front door? Can you move that a lot or two either way?
I don't think so. The way that it lays out in there, we would probably. It's not strictly driven by density, but you need to get the entrances as far away from each other as you can. And I think we would lose lots if we moved it to the place.
What did you say the lots were going to sell for, approximately?
He said 37, 38.
So you lose about 296,000. You'd have to raise the lot prices of 32 lots by 9,000 in order to gain that back. 47.
You're outside my field of expertise here, but yeah.
But you spend the same site improvements to get there.
We do, and we're way more exposed to ASTI street improvements than any of the developments around us where we're located.
So Vernon, someone mentioned the pond. I'm sure you've done your core study.
Yeah, it's part of our development to take it out.
The Corps approves that?
I don't know that we have our 404 permit yet. I don't know that we went through to make sure that we're required to get one. I know there's not a blue line on the piece of property.
It's a man-made pond.
Yeah, it's a man-made pond, yeah.
So if it's man-made, the Corps still has control over it?
There's no blue line.
The jurisdictional creeks that are out there run along the west side that they clip our northwest corner. And, to be honest, given where the pond is on the piece of property, it's kind of surprising to me that it has water in it. It may get enough water, from the west to fill it. They may have to cut some ditches on the property to make it fill, but it's got a surprisingly small drainage basin to it. And it's not connected with a jurisdictional creek. Typically, if it is, that's part of what comes through the plan review and the DRC process. And discussions about that weren't triggered on this. Can you turn the photo off and get the quad map, base map on it? Photograph. It's a blue one, so it's not that. That's probably under your hydrology section.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, it's still not coming up on there very well, but the main creek you can see is clipping that corner through that valley there that's in the bunkers.
Okay. Any other questions? So you're requesting R2, which would be 32 lots, which is based on what our plan is now, and you want to change it to R-1.S, which would give you 40 lots.
Correct.
Okay. Voting for rezoning it from R2 to R-1.S.
Burgess,
No.
Enfield,
Yes.
Stack,
No.
Mayfield,
No.
Johnson,
Yes.
and Irwin.
No. At this time, the rezoning has been not approved. Is your option? They could go to the city council to appeal that?
I believe so.
Yes, that's the,
Okay. Okay.
and if it doesn't get appealed, I think per our bylaws that you can't apply for rezoning for 1 year.
Correct.
Okay. Going on to the next one, Saratoga Place, requesting recommendation approval for annexation.
So on Saratoga Place, this is a subdivision that had come through previously that I think we had found that had then lapsed on its time period of approval. And I think through that we discovered that we were also missing an annexation process for this application. So that's what's coming before you this evening is not just the annexation but also the subdivision as well. Of course, this is just for the annexation.
Okay. Does anyone to speak on this annexation? Representative Saratoga Place?
I believe the representative is Garnett Engineering.
What's the deal with the other client?
Hey,
Vernon.
Vernon.
We need to discuss the Saratoga Place.
And pretty much everything Trish said, we've been back here before, we just let our time expire. No nature of the development changed. And the R1S that we're asking for there is the same as what's across the street at Kensington. I do think in that case, I think our lots are bigger than the zoning calls for, but we just didn't want to go ahead and bring it in at that same, so we weren't restricted. We have a preliminary plat coming with this tonight that shows you exactly what we're building. I'd answer any other questions you have.
Okay. Colton, can you turn on zoning and okay. Can you zoom out just a little bit? Thank you.
Okay, Brian, thank you. Is there anyone who is like to speak considering about this annexation that's before the planning commission at this time? Okay. Do we have any questions?
What's this big facility up here? Just want to make sure I'm oriented correctly.
That's the school.
School.
Bethel.
We got a couple of those, Bethel.
Okay.
All right, thank you.
No questions, roll call vote for the annexation,
Recommendation.
recommendation for approval for annexation.
With the zoning class
Yes.
of R1S.
Yeah.
Staff,
Yes.
Penfield,
Yes.
Burgess,
Yes.
Mayfield,
Yes.
Johnson,
Yes.
and Irwin.
Yes.
After the vote, would that fit our comprehensive plan?
Yes.
Okay, just for the record.
Okay.
I'm glad.
So requesting of recommendation for approval of annexation has passed. The next public hearing is 2009 Johns Wood, rezoning. Bobby Farr requesting rezoning from R-E to R-2.
Yes, and before Ms. Farr, before you speak, just to give a little bit of background on this. She's rezoning her piece of property from RE to R2. It meets the comprehensive growth plan there. Of course, RE is a residential large lot that, for the most part, doesn't have sewer, so undeveloped residential property is what RE is. She's looking at putting another house on her piece of property, and that's the reason why going through the rezoning process. I'm sure she can answer any further questions you have.
Thank you very much for being here, ma'am. Please, your name and your address, please.
Bobby Farr, 2009 Johnwood Road, Bryant, Arkansas.
Thank you. And you wanting to rezone it from R-2 to R-2, R-E to R-2 to build another piece of property on there, another building, a home, I guess. Which one is it, Colton?
Just that, lot traffic.
That's the pair.
Yes.
I suppose one house already sits on one of those two lots,
Yes.
and you'll build on the other one.
I'm gonna build, I want to, on the other side, the left side of the house instead of the right side.
Trude, is she gonna have to plat it, or can she?
Yeah, she'll have to plat it out. If
Because
she
there's
goes
another
on,
house already on that parcel.
you can only have one dwelling per parcel. So if she goes on the right side of her current house, that'll just take a replat.
So we'll do a 2-lot subdivision.
Colton, turn it off to what it was a while ago so we can see the other line.
You understand that, Ms. Farr?
I think I understand it, but that's not the lot. The RE is not the one that I want to put the house on. Because, I can make the sewer, city sewer on the left, but I can't on the right.
Okay.
But my property is 1 acre and a half, or almost a half.
So it's that, is it the 1.01 and the 0.41?
Correct. The property.
I can't see what numbers those are. I'm sorry, when you get old, you can't see it well.
So is there a dwelling on both of those parcels?
No.
Now, where's your house located now?
Right there.
So it's on the large parcel.
I just wanted to build to the right of that.
Okay.
So
To the left of it.
I'm sorry, left.
So you're gonna build to the left?
Uh-huh.
And that's a different parcel?
That's a different
It's a
one.
different parcel.
The request, from what we have gotten from her application, is that the request is to rezone both as R2. That's what the legal description that was put out for. So if she builds on the left, she already has a parcel to do that. If she builds on the right, she'll have to come back in and replat the property in order to have a lot to build on the right.
need a clarification on what her intent is, because you're saying one thing, she's saying one thing.
Well, it doesn't affect the use. It's
Right.
just if she gets to the point when her builder, when they get to do a site plan, if they can get it on that 0.41, then she can just pull a permit and build.
Right.
But if she needs any area that's in the 1.01 tract for setbacks or anything, then she's going to have to do a plan.
Correct.
A subdivision plan. But as far as tonight goes, zoning it from RE to R2 gives her the right to either build on that one parcel or to pull a plat, a subdivision plan.
Right. This way, if she needs to shift gears and go to the right, if that's what she chooses to do, the zoning is already in place for it, and she just has to replat the property.
Do you understand that, Mr. Farr? Okay. Any other questions?
Yeah, where's Anthony at?
Nursing home.
I'm kidding with
Can you turn on zoning just so we can see what's around
the
it?
school with you.
Yeah, everybody knows that.
Okay.
Okay. Any other questions? Okay, roll call vote.
Is there any public
Oh, I'm sorry, is there any public comments on this piece of property, 2009 Johns Wood?
Don't want a railroad.
Yeah. Get a bad name.
Vernon, you don't have anything to say?
If there's no other comments, let's do roll call vote, please.
Burgess,
Yeah.
Mayfield,
Yes.
Penfield,
Yes.
Stack,
Yes.
Johnson,
Yes.
and Irwin.
Yes. Your request to then rezone it from R-E to R-2 has been approved, ma'am. Good luck. Thank you for coming.
Motion to close the public hearing.
Second.
Okay, got a motion second to close the public hearing. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, like sign. We'll move on to new business, Saratoga Place, Wise Road, requesting approval for preliminary plat.
I think like earlier, like previously stated, this does come from DRC with a recommendation, and it basically mimics the previously approved plan.
Any questions?
Vernon, you have anything to say? Since you're the applicant.
The only thing that I would add is that they did get 2 or 3 more requirements on us when we designed this. So you're getting a little bit better than if we would have built it before.
That is true.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Okay.
And on this, with the approval needs to be contingent upon the annexation, going through that process.
Okay. I understand the request.
There's no road along that north boundary. That's just a property line, right?
Correct.
Okay. Thank you. You get less frontage on this half-street
We
improvement.
did well on this.
Yeah.
Okay. Roll call vote, please.
Penfield,
Yes.
Burgess,
Yes.
Mayfield,
Yes.
Stack,
Yes.
Johnson,
Yes.
and Irwin.
Yes. Requesting approval for preliminary plat is passed with the contingent on the annexation. Next item of business, Marketplace subdivision, replat lots 8 and 9. Requesting approval for replat.
This also comes as recommended. I'll let the applicant explain why coming to the replat, but it meets all the plat, the lot size meets all of our specifications, so it comes recommended.
Okay, Bernie?
Sure. The basic reason for this one is we had lots 8 and 9 out there. Lot 8 sold. The buyer wanted a little bit smaller lot. So we're simply just trying to take the excess land that the purchaser didn't want and add it to lot 9.
And this is just north of Walmart?
Yes.
Okay.
Actually, it's north. Yeah, north, yeah. Exactly right.
I only recognize it because that piece of property there. Where the gun range is there.
Supposed to be.
Yeah.
Okay. Any questions? Roll call vote, please.
Staff,
Yes.
John,
Yes.
Burgess,
Yep.
Penfield,
Abstain.
and Mason.
Yes.
Did you ask that? He asked you?
Yeah, he asked me.
Oh, Earl.
He asked me like that.
Yes.
Sorry.
Thought we weren't gonna
I
get
know what
one vote on that
Got
one.
off on my.
Yeah. You did a lot of things, you're multitasking now, man.
So point of order, I just want to be sure that's enough votes to carry.
Yes, we have 5.
Okay.
Thank you, Walter. Spanish Community Code subdivision.
Applicant is going to pull that.
Second. Grace Village Phase 2B, requesting approval for final plat.
This comes from, DRC has recommended as well. This is the additional plating out of Grace Village, which is just the continuation of the subdivision. So it's that undeveloped portion to the east.
Or to our right.
Correct.
You can zoom back out, Colton. That's good. Oh, Chris, where you going? Okay, it's way out there. Okay. I don't think I've driven that big.
Yeah. We're just finished with our construction out there. We've met all you guys' requirements. So to answer any questions that you want, discuss it further.
How many homes on this track?
I think it's 12, is that sound right, or 14? We did a preliminary plat on phase 2 that had somewhere around 30 lots in it. The owner kind of elected to only complete half of what was preliminary platted. We final platted it a couple of years ago. We've come back and just building this out. It just consists of one short road. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, yeah.
It'd be the same size as the ones already there.
I think the lots have grown in size a little bit. He's decided that, I would say that when it was platted, there was probably 14 lots in there, and he's made the decision while he's going through there to make those larger.
Any other questions for Bernie? Not going to roll call vote, please.
Mayfield,
Yes.
Burgess,
Yes.
Penfield,
Yes.
Staff,
Yes.
Johnson,
Yes.
and Earl.
Yes. Request for approval for final plat has taken place for Grace Village Phase 2B. Okay, next one is J.D. Byrider, 22677 I-30 South, requesting approval for sign variance.
On this one, the applicant wasn't able to make it in person, but I can get her over the phone.
Let's talk about it first, let's see. What are they asking for?
So they're asking for a sign variance for an additional front sign on the front facade, and then a sign on the west facade.
What has been approved so far?
Right now, one facade sign on the front of the building has been approved, and then they have a pole sign that was approved as well.
So is
Go ahead.
this approved during the normal?
Walter, we had a question
Thought it
about
was,
this.
went to a public hearing.
No, not in the
This
signage.
piece of property, but not the signage.
Okay. Because they were showing a piece of property on the side,
Yeah.
storage, and we said, no, that's not what they said.
Cole, can you pull
But you want to speak
the property?
Hear the
That piece of
conversation.
property that's got the
And
stucco
if
on it
you
now?
close to the line on something
White?
like that, fix them up.
Yeah, they're rebuilding.
Yeah,
Okay.
right there next to the trailer.
I'll let you know.
Yeah.
Okay, so I do have Amy on the line.
This used to be
face toward you when you came by or not now?
This used to be Landers, used car lot.
There's a lot of stuff right there.
Right off Bishop.
So explain what they're asking.
So they're asking for variance to get an additional front facade sign and then also a side facade sign on this west side.
So what is the current square footage of signage that's been approved, and what is the additional signage square footage? And is that above or below the limit?
Just a second. I'll be able to
I
catch
think it has to do with this,
Yeah, I believe the issue that they ran into is, if you remember, this property split, did the lot split on these two sections, so that lot that is there used to be one contiguous one, and now it is two separate lots. And when they did that, they lost the ability to do another side sign. So when you have a corner lot, two streets, you get to have a wall sign on each side of your piece of property. Well, when they did the lot split, they took the corner lot away, basically. But they didn't take it away. It just became the new lot. So the existing building does not have the ability to do that anymore. So I believe that is the main nature for the request for the facade sign variance.
So they requested to split the lot.
Yes.
well, because they didn't need the whole thing. But we did the same thing with David's Burgers. We did a variance so that they could put signs on both sides.
If they only have a sign on the front, you won't be able to see it
You couldn't see it.
from, if you're going down the service road.
You're coming down, going east.
It's the angle of the interstate,
And
how
the
you
building.
approach and how the buildings are. The building faces north, but the interstate goes northeasterly.
Right.
I knew this was coming when I saw that building. It almost has to.
And it's the same argument we had, like I said, David's Burgers and a few others on.
You wouldn't know what it is.
Unless you have
if
two
you don't-
signs, you won't see it from one way or the other. There'll be one way, one.
All you see is a post sign and one sign right now.
So are we talking about a larger sign on the front or an additional sign? That's not clear to me.
An additional sign.
So two signs.
Yeah, having they have a sign by right on the front, but then having an additional sign on the side of the building,
I'm asking about the front.
the front.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the way this was worded is the variance was for an additional sign on the front, I believe were the exact words used.
I thought the variance was so they could put one on the side.
So they're requesting two things. One, for the additional sign on the front of the building, and then two, for a sign on the side of the building. This picture right here, you can see this is the by-rider, is what was already approved on the front of the building. That one was 13.8 square feet. And then this is the 5 financial drive on. That's the second sign that they're requesting for the front of the building. With that is 12.5 square feet. And then the other side of the building.
Which side is the front? The one facing toward the interstate?
Yes.
Toward the north?
Service road.
Yeah, facing the service road. That is the front of the building there.
And that's what's been approved, that by rider.
By-rider has been approved, yes. First, to answer your question, so with the pole sign and the front sign that's already been approved, they're at 90.6 square feet. So they're well under the 300 square foot limit.
And the sign that's going to go on the side,
Let me get that. real
it's
quick.
not more than 100 square feet.
No, it is not.
So even with the variances, they'll still be underneath the maximum square feet.
Yeah, that's what I wanted to hear. Yeah. And this is length times width calculated?
Yes, it is. I told them at DRC that you were going to make a point on how the signs were measured. I told them.
I couldn't let it pass. I asked him if it was length times width in the
oval.
instead of the circle.
I'm just surprised it took that long, you know.
So the additional sign on the west side of the building is 25.2 square foot.
Are we counting that whole blue length?
It's just the byrider.com. I believe that's the blue is paint.
That's clarified.
when you're going down Surgeon.
Which I would too.
Eastbound side.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna ask for my benefit, that doesn't give them the right to put the sign all the way down that blue strip, correct?
All you're approving is what is in the application in front of you.
Okay.
Okay. Everybody understand what the variance is requesting?
Yes, sir.
Roll call vote.
Burgess,
Yes.
Penfield,
Yes.
Staton,
Yes.
Mayfield,
Yes.
Johnson,
Yes.
and Earl.
Yes. Variance has been approved.
Motion to add the,
We have one more, don't we?
oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, do we have something added? Am I remembering right?
This
No,
is
that's
what we
last
added,
one.
isn't it?
This is, yeah, question added. to the
Motion to add the Hurricane Gardens Phase 2 final plat to the agenda.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, like sign. Ma'am, it's your time. Thank you for being here, being patient.
Make your boyfriend talk.
Yeah, let the other guy talk.
Yeah, make your boyfriend talk.
Hurricane Gardens Phase 2 final plat approval request.
Meet all the guidelines.
I believe, and maybe Colton can speak more to this, I'm sorry, I got stuck in meetings all day, but I know there was a discussion with the city engineer about a couple of things.
You know what that is?
And I believe Mr. Chapman has been involved in those conversations.
I don't know if Lance, even you remember when we had it all ready for final plat, we developed all 56 lots, and literally the 11th hour, the adjoining property owner had a property dispute, and so y'all allowed us to take our south boundary, our middle island, and move forward with the hope of resolving that boundary dispute. And my assumption was we got it solved. We got a second engineer, Aaron Raspberry, to come out and confirm our information. He agreed it was right. As we went, because we were supposed to be here last month, the north property owner again said he disputed it, but I've got it in text. I don't know if I need to get the mother writing. He actually, him and I think Mr. Donaldson, his surveyor, they actually agree that the pin is within inches of where they both agree the property line is. And so I'm hoping the dispute is over. That it's been pretty frustrating because as soon as that meeting when we didn't get approved for final plat on that, we had Mr. Raspberry, and then had Mr. Raspberry come out again to confirm it again. And now his surveyor is saying we are correct.
Okay, you said Ted, engineering to the city, what happened with that?
Well, I think the concern was over that. I think there was a level of concern over the retaining wall that is there, and making sure that it was, he was requesting structurally engineered plans for that.
Yes, we actually are, Philip Lewis is, which is what y'all requested last time. We provided a stamped engineer drawing, and we're actually going to even improve on that drawing as to, but yeah, we will be providing an engineer drawing for our wall. I'm hoping when the city accepts that we can still pull permits. We're going to build a wall as we're building houses.
Well, I think we got past, I'm going from memory, DRC, we got past the property line dispute. And we moved on, and there was only two things. One was a stormwater deal that they needed to correct, a drainage ditch or something. And then the other was the wall, I guess.
Right.
And those were the only two items that I recall hanging. And that's been over a month ago. Is all that resolved?
With me, it's resolved. I
know Mike left that meeting saying we're going to get it fixed.
Yeah.
I believe Ted Taylor had said that he was waiting on just receiving those plans, the structural,
On the wall?
engineered stamp, yes, for the wall.
But that's something they're building as they build the houses.
Well, yes, but we were actually, and I think the adjoining property owner is concerned, and and again, I'm kind of here to plead, I hope that in his real concern is if he builds a road, does my wall fall down? And I did challenge him to find any segmented wall manufacturer to say the wall can be built to spec of a sheep's foot running within 10 foot of the wall, which is concerning to me. I'll have my kids and folks playing below that wall, and so we do build them right. And he did bring seen the email of Ted and everybody he said the gold standard of walls, and as Philip said it, he said there's plenty of ways to skin the cat to get the friction coefficient of building a safe wall. And buy that book, I guess you would say. I think his goal is it's not really the safety of the wall. I think his goal is to tunnel to a sewer pump on hypothetical if he does something someday. And it is. It's getting pretty frustrating on how much we're getting held up for hypotheticals that someday somebody might do something. And
So has the plans on the wall been sent to?
actually Philip's working on them. And we turned in a set of plans last time it was approved, which is pretty standard past 6 foot. I know Bryant and Benton require that when we get over 6 foot.
So is that all we're waiting on through?
Yes.
How tall is that wall?
And I think we can do it.
Yeah.
There is a section that gets up to 10 foot tall.
Okay.
And I did,
Hey, Dave. Oh, are you
Good, no, I just wondered I remember we talked about it, but I forgot how tall.
make a motion that we approve it, conditioned on the plans being acceptable to city engineer on the wall.
Okay.
Or is
When
everybody
you
good
said
with
you
that?
felt like it would, I didn't hear what you said a minute ago. Whenever you feel like it will get through the engineer, okay?
Well,
You'll have to now.
No. I'm just saying, but I mean, is that they feel like it's going to work out fine?
Yes.
I'm trying to put-
I think Ted just wants to be sure, the city engineer just wants to be sure to get those plans to see them for himself.
Oh, okay.
To ensure that the wall is built to an engineered specification.
Okay.
There's a big dispute's been that line.
yes,
That's
yes,
the
now
biggest
it's resolved, and that's when
Yeah.
the gentleman came up with the wall. That's the new dispute, and in saying that, I'm speculating, but I don't think it's actual wall dispute. I assured him that the safety of his property, I'm concerned about the safety I sell to people that they're patio homes, so they're, that walls within 20 feet of their back patio, and it's,
Well, I second the motion that Lance just did, contingent on the approval.
Engineering approval of the plan.
Submitting the plans for the wall being approved by the city.
You okay with that? Roll call vote, please.
Sorry. Burgess,
Yes.
Penfield,
Yes.
Johnson,
Yes.
Staton,
Yes.
Mayfield,
Yes.
and Irwin.
Yes. Final plat approval based on the city engineer approving the plan.
the engineer drawing of the wall.
Yep.
Yeah.
You have to do that anyway.
Yeah, that was, we don't have a drawing of the last one, and I think Phillips wanted to revisit it, and some things have improved in the segment wall that they added also, so we're.
Thank you very much, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank y'all.
We have somebody coming in or something.
Yes.
Still a motion to adjourn.
We got a director's report.
That
That could be an hour.
And please, I could talk about how to measure a sign.
Wow.
Actually, I do have a sign question when you're done.
Okay. I just wanted to speak quickly about, we did sit, the mayor and I did interviews today for the Open Planning Commission commissioner position. Had 6 really good interviews. I think the mayor's time frame on that is to have a appointee at the city council meeting, the regular city council meeting at the end of the month. So hopefully making a decision on that rather quickly to fill the open seat.
So they had a city council meeting special tonight.
Correct.
And what is the one tomorrow for?
So the one tomorrow has the Midtown proposal on the agenda, as well as and I don't know the specifics on it, but I know it's important to our public safety guys, an A-wind tower that has to do with signal for their communication devices.
Okay.
So
These are 2 special meetings, and then they'll have the regular meeting.
Yes, so they're They probably, I don't know if they're over or not, they've had a meeting at the same time we've been having a meeting tonight, and then there's another special one tomorrow night. Of course, the plan for the commissioner is to have that person at the regular one at the end of the month.
Okay. So we might have somebody here next month.
I hope so. If the confirmation goes well from the council.
Has she lived in Bryant a long time?
I'm
kidding you. I'm kidding you.
Yet.
I'm kidding
I don't
you.
think.
Person, so you had several, you said they were all very acceptable.
Yeah, I was impressed by. We had 6 people apply. All 6 of them are great choices. So I think the mayor's got a decision to make on them. All the interviews went very well as well.
Because that's Butch Higginbottom's and Rob Rodell's area, right?
Yes, I believe that's Ward 3. Yeah, Ward 3.
Okay. And also will be coming up recommendations for the next year for the chairman and vice chairman for the planning commission. We need to start thinking about that.
Yeah. So we'll need to set. I believe we make that. Y'all make that committee if you choose to. I think at least by November, with a answer coming back in December, and we'll also need to remember to set the calendar in December for next year's planning commission meeting. It's amazing where the year has gone.
Didn't we just do that?
Right?
Walter, did you have a question?
I did, just under the umbrella of fiduciary duty.
Yeah.
What's the update on the enforcement action of the sign that's on the roof as you go down the interstate? One of the 2 car dealerships that's there?
Still there?
I can check with code enforcement to see where we are with that.
What can they do?
It hadn't changed. It's still there.
They were supposed to pay it off.
Yeah, I think they have some ability to do some stuff, but I'll get with code enforcement and hopefully get y'all an answer to that.
I move we adjourn.
Second. All in favor, say aye. Great job. Thank you very much, gentlemen.